what's up.
But the audiences are great.
Yeah.
They're really great. We had a screening yesterday. It went really well. That was pretty cool. They were pretty.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there?
That Q&A was so killer, man.
Oh wow! Thank you so much. I didn't know where it was going. I was pretty drunk.
Yeah.
It was pretty weird.
So was he just didn't know? He was just didn't do his research?
People thought it was staged because it was so awkward. Like, it was like a film about duality, and then it was like a mirrored version of each other on that stage.
Yeah.
It was like so weird. But yeah, it was. He didn't know. I don't think so. But he kind of asked me questions. I think beforehand he was like, "Do you have any questions you want me to ask?" I was like, "No."
Yeah.
And thank you.
Just this is your directorial debut, right?
Yeah. I was like,
I don't know, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I was so confused myself, but I'm glad you liked it. I was worried.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you kind of explained the very beginning of it, because
Oh, cool.
yeah, because at first I was just kind of like, I'm not sure what to think just yet.
Yeah.
But it's the rest of the second act and the third act that really make the beginning make sense, because I appreciate when you put more thought into it and trying to think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I want to kind of show that my life is boring in this stage of my life.
Yeah, I mean, it really interests me. Like, I'm a massive fan of Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
And especially with The Master and Inherent Vice, which I think he's lost a lot of people with, it seems.
It's pretty dense.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah,
good.
but I like the fact that it's not abiding by the rules almost, you know. He's not, you know, things are not happening every 15 minutes, or, you know, there's not an inciting incident that, you know, then there's a reversal of it. I mean, I just wanted to keep it as true to life as possible. And yeah, when I was a kid, Emil Hirsch didn't come in 15 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
If I asked for Emil Hirsch, he wouldn't have come in, so it felt right to bring him in to, you know, late.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because essentially, like I think I said yesterday, this movie is, behind all the fabrication and the laughs and stuff, it's about a kid that's essentially breaking down.
Yeah.
And by the time Emil's got there, he has.
Yeah, sure.
So that was cool that you appreciate that. I'm glad you liked that.
Yeah, I like how it kind of started as a very crazy situation for him once Dean comes into the picture, but then it, like, as the narrative goes on, it becomes a little more normal for him. And so, thinking about that, is there a role that initially maybe felt crazy to you and unpredictable, but you were just kind of surprised by how normal it began to feel?
A role as in this, or as in general?
In general, like anything you've done.
I think it's all been crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's old. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this was slightly weird. I felt slightly disconnected the whole time, because obviously I was directing and acting at the same time, and the directing part was really cool, but we just had limited time, so that was a problem, and but not a problem, but something we had to work against. And there was kind of a magic to having a low budget and a cool, everyone sort of came together, and I think that's really nice. But yeah, it's all felt crazy, to be honest. But I think that was what was nice about Emil's entrance. It's like, the town I'm from is like, it's energyless, it's nihilistic, and it's like there's nothing going on. It was like, it was built and then people left it, essentially, and people do jump off that viaduct, and having him come in is like bang.
Yeah.
And it does feel normal. Yeah, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, in ways that, are you familiar with the show Wilfred?
Is that the show with Elijah? Is it Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood.
I've not seen it.
I think you should check it out. It has a very similar tone where it, like just normal kind of depressed guy, normal, and then Wilfred kind of comes into the picture and just, he does things that seem crazy to the audience, like, why the hell would you do that to him? But he's teaching him lessons in like very obscure ways.
Is Wilfred what is Wilfred? Is it like an animal or something?
It's
Is it like Harvey?
To everybody else, it looks like a normal dog, but to Elijah Wood, it looks like a man in a suit.
And is it like Harvey, like the James Stewart? Is it like an alter ego or something?
It plays with your mind. I don't want to give it away to you
Okay.
because they kind of it only goes for like 4 seasons, and they explain everything to you at that point. But
Oh, cool.
there's so many ways it can go, and it presents like all the different ways that it can go. So it's cool, and it reminded me of this, like, cause
Oh, cool.
like like that guy in the Q&A was talking about how like I got a kind of Fight Club thought from it, but it could go that way, or it just kind of depends on each person.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the point. I think that I like leaving movies and really having to think about it, and not really knowing having to think about it and coming up. I think coming up with my own interpretation of it.
Yeah.
I think that's nice. But yeah, there's definitely an American turns up in Wales and it's unexplained. It's pretty bizarre.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For it to be normal, it's slightly weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely that. I think there's definitely that whole duality thing.
Right.
And it was kind of, 'cause the film noir that plays is about, and this was, where we wanted, an American to play it. And there's this American film noir movie that's about a killer called the Piper who leaves behind a lit cigarette, and then Emil turns up smoking a cigarette in every scene, and then turns Jim into a version of himself. So. Almost making him like the Piper. So yeah, it was definitely there's a duality of stuff going on.
So you were kind of touching on yesterday your attraction to that kind of style of filmmaking, like that ambiguity.
Yeah.
And did you have like any references or like anything that you tried to?
For this film, yeah, Punch Drunk Love was a big reference for it.
Right.
Just because I love that character and how that character just developed in scenes was so clever.
Yeah, I was talking to there's a filmmaker here last year it's called Fault.
Okay.
And it's got Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Scott Pilgrim. And he was talking about how I was saying how his movie is like one of those movies that when you leave the theater, it stays with you. And this movie's the same way.
Oh, cool.
And so you're just constantly, it's very thought-provoking, you're always thinking about it. And so he was saying that the movie that did that for me was Punch Drunk Love. It's like the first time I saw it, I was like, I've never seen anything like this. And I was like, I'm not sure if I like it yet. But is that something that kind of worries you with this film at all?
I knew that writing it, that some people just won't get it. I think won't just. It's interesting. Like I read something that I think some people will take this for what it is on the surface of a comedy and not look deeper.
Right.
And if they do, then it's just lazy, I think. But I think some people are not going to get it. But I'm not really worried. I mean, I'd like to know how worried David Lynch is. If I'm worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his stuff is batshit crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's awesome. But yeah, the ambiguity was definitely. But I watched Punch Drunk Love and I was like, what is this? It's like a romantic comedy that's like a cluster of. It's amazing. It's like it's an internal. Again, like he was breaking down.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one. The Conformist was definitely a reference for the lighting of it. Just because, again, in that first act, I wanted to make Jim blend in as much as possible. Like, we do stuff, like, there's, like, small things that maybe some people won't pick up on, but, like, we don't give him any clean close-ups. Like, in the first act, whenever he's on it, whenever he has a close-up, somebody's in it. Like, even the plug gets a close-up. But he doesn't. So stuff like that, and, like, the lighting and stuff, we just wanted to make it feel like he was part of the wallpaper. Almost. And just not very recognizable, and the Invisible Man. And that lighting of the noir to slowly come into the film, and it mix. So The Conformist for that, but any Kubrick film as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the way his actors perform, it's like they're all dead. It's amazing. Like Stanley Kubrick did like every genre, mastered it, but yet it's still a Stanley Kubrick film. It's like it's so amazing. And PTA in the same way.
Right.
It's almost like he's the new Kubrick.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up like your lighting and everything, because we're video guys. We do, not just this, we do like work for a video production business, so we edit. So I'm always like looking for like because there's one shot that I noticed that reminded me of like Citizen Kane, where you did like a mask shot. Or, where you're in focus and then Emil's in focus in the background. I was like, like, that can't be done. You got to do that in post.
That was I think the first time I saw that was Carrie, when De Palma, and I thought, just again for the duality, slap it together in post.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there was also a weird movie that was a reference was Pretty Poison.
I never heard of that.
It's a movie with Tuesday Wheels and Anthony Perkins.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And there's just a lot of bad crash zooms, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So that was definitely a reference for like the camera movement and stuff.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Since we're kind of, we try to think of ourselves as like in the early stages of like a Tarantino style career. Like we didn't go to film school. I did it for a brief period, but I ended up pursuing English literature.
Oh, cool.
So but Tarantino, he didn't go to school for it. He worked at a video store, and so that's what we're doing. We're going to movies, watching young guys like you do it. And I think, are you 25?
24.
24? I'm 24 too, almost 25.
Nice.
So
good age. It's
so
a weird age, isn't it? It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool, man.
So like we want to try to do something like this because we go to all these film festivals and see people do shorts, and we're like, we can do something on that level. So kudos for you for like, because I have so many friends that have abandoned projects that I've worked on because they're just like, I think we could do better. And I was like, yeah, but you gotta fake it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's weird, yeah. It's like I didn't train at all either, but like you don't need to train. You just need to watch a film.
Yeah.
If you watch enough films, essentially filmmaking is taste.
Yeah.
It's how you would like to see a film.
Yeah.
And obviously, some people are not going to agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, most critics probably hated most of Lynch's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just taste and what you like.
Yeah. People hated 2001 too, like a lot when it first came out.
Did they?
Yeah. It took like a couple of years until people were like, okay, I somewhat get it.
Wow. That movie's insane.
And the Master's a lot like that too. Anything PTA.
I think like in 10 years' time, people will come back at Vice and Inherent Vice and be like, it's awesome. Like it really is. And again, it's like confused is a word that's like frowned upon in film for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like you look at a piece of art. This is at the risk of sounding pretentious, but you look at a piece of art, an ambiguous piece of art, and you're not going to know what it means at first. You may not know what it means when you leave. Doesn't mean it's not good.
Yeah. True.
But Inherent Vice is a great film, but people don't like it because they're confused. It's very strange.
Yeah, it came and went from the theaters so quick. Like I was able to like watch a screener of it and watch it in my own home. I wish I saw it on the big screen because.
And I assume he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't. I mean, he made There Will Be Blood. That's probably the best film of the last 10 years.
I totally agree.
I can't think of a better film. That movie could exist in any era. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. No dialogue for 20 minutes. Yeah, no dialogue for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That movie's insane. All his movies are. He's not made a bad movie.
Yeah.
Even Hard Eight's alright.
Yeah.
It's a good film.
Yeah. And lastly, I used to write for my university, and this was a question I always ended on, but I'm just not ready to give it up yet. So if you could teach a college course of your creation, what do you think you would teach?
What would I teach? Wow, that's a good question. Silence. Yeah, teach silence. I like silence.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like talking.
Yeah.
Especially about myself. That's probably why the Q&A was so awkward.
Yeah, is that a weird thing to just kind of...
Yeah, it's strange to get on stage and then spend like 20 minutes talking about yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel right. That's why I tend to avoid questions. But then you feel bad, like you're wasting... I always feel like I'm wasting people's time. Yeah.
But no, I dug that Q&A, so...
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm sure he didn't.
Yeah, big memories for him, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. Who knows? Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man.
And thank you very much for coming. Yes, yeah. Thank you. Really appreciate it.